Of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I'm Anthony Hermig, alongside Mr. Ty Bartell, and boy, do we ever have a loaded show for you today. Ty, because we have so many guests, let's run through what's going to be going on today. We're going to have Mckayley Thornhill from Jackson Milton softball at 12:15. Julie Stackowitz from South Range softball at 12:30. At 12:45, we're going to have Riley Mccelwain from Columbiana baseball. At 1 o'clock, we're going to have Eddie Clancy from Columbiana baseball. And at 1:15, we're going to have Trevor Deering from Columbiana baseball. Take a deep breath. 5 interviews, one day. I know it's a lot. We're going to run with it, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Columbiana faithful, you're going to be represented. South Range, you're going to be represented. And Jackson Milton, you're going to be represented today. So a lot of fun. And what a way to end the week going into the weekend.
Yeah, and you know what? With the amount of probably rainouts that we're expecting for tonight, too, we're going to try to get you covered with some baseball and softball, at least players to talk to on a day where it looks to be gloomy for the sport of baseball and softball.
Well, yesterday night was not gloomy for the sport of baseball and softball, and we had a lot of great scores and finals come in. Ty, you were at Austintown Fitch for the baseball team being able to beat JFK 7-2. Talk about what you saw from the Falcons and what kind of statement this is for Fitch moving forward.
Either way, I consider it a big win. And you know what? First and foremost, give all the respect, credit where it's due. JFK, once again, proving that they can compete with any team, Division 1 through 4. Like, this is a good baseball team that has and can and will compete with any team. Take that first inning out of it. This is a completely different game because both teams score 2 runs after that first inning of play, and it's a 2-2 ball game. It was really that bottom half of the first. Fitch hits 4, I believe, extra base hits, 3 triples, and a double, scores 5 runs in that first, and that was the difference of the ball game. Joe Roth was able to really command things on the mound. The 2 runs JFK scored were unearned. An error in center field allowed 1 to come home, and they tacked on another run with 2 outs. But other than that, Joe Roth really pitched well, 6 1/3 innings, 7 strikeouts too, really looked good. And then Stephen Palmer came in and closed things out for Fitch to get the win. But JFK, I think, if I'm not mistaken, compiled 6 hits last night, six hits against Roth last night. It's a D1 pitcher going to Akron and D4 talent. That's why I said, like, with baseball, and I said this on last night's broadcast, and I'll reiterate it again. If you're a good pitcher in Division 4, it translates. Oftentimes, it's going to translate across divisions. If you're a good pitcher, it'll translate. If you're a good baseball player, it'll translate. And we saw another example of that last night with JFK and Fitch.
And from what I saw, Brandon Popio continues to put a really hot bat together. I think, 3 for 3 on the night?
Yeah, big bat. And I mean, the seniors are really coming together for Fitch, all having good seasons between Popio and Shortino and Roth as well. Like, these bats are all coming around and coming in big time. But then you got guys like Carson Fuller who are stepping up big time. Brandon Stevenson, who are getting big hits now. Like, these guys are stepping in and filling some huge roles as well. And I want to shout out Carter Owens, too, a freshman who had a couple of hits last night. He's been really tearing it up, too. And we saw him on the basketball court as well. A lot of things to be excited about for Fitch. But no doubt, we saw, too, what JFK offers. They just offer quality baseball players all around the infield, all around the outfield.
Here's the interesting result, Ty, and this is something that I think we see for the first time this season. Springfield and Girard end in a tie, 7-7, 9 innings. I am guessing that light was the reason they ran out of daylight and they had to postpone the game because of daylight. But
Does it get postponed or does it just go?
it says final 7-7 on Game Changer. But man, I mean, 9 innings, 7-7. Springfield had 10 hits and 1 error, 10 hits and 3 errors. Excuse me. Girard had 6 hits and 1 error. So tie right now. I think it's a tie.
We're gonna have that just doesn't sit well with me. Ties in baseball and softball, that doesn't seem right.
Do you take the time as soon as the weather breaks to be like, hey, let's just go finish this one, right?
I just don't want to. I don't want a tie on our record. I don't want to have to put that in the record book.
Let's go to the top of the 10th and finish this game up, right?
I mean, if it's a tie game, it's just a game to 1 run. You can even get together in the summer and just like, hey, let's get this game underway.
Yeah, we got to get a win or a loss on our schedule. We can't end in a tie. We're not soccer over here.
Yeah, double down on that for sure.
So that was interesting to kind of see, and that was one that I wanted to point out that Springfield and Girard in a tie. How about Howland, the Tigers? They are too tough for Harding, and they get a big win in the AAC. And Brandon Gabehart, who is up for the Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley, he had a big day for the Tigers. 3 runs in the 4th inning for Howland, and Gebhardt was a part of it. So was Evan McLean on the at the ditch, and Ryan Hooper also scored a run on an RBI single. Jack Kenny got the win for the Tigers on the mound. And Anthony Masucci led the Tigers on a 2-for-3 day at the plate. So Tigers get a win in the AAC. They beat Harding. We have Salem. They bounce back after losing on Wednesday with a 13-2 win over Mooney. Carson Rhodes on the mound, and he pitched really well. The offense just got rolling really, really quick, and Mooney couldn't recover.
Yeah, and I mean, good win again by Salem. And I mean, you got to credit, though, that Mooney Cardinals baseball team is a team that has bounced back all season long. We saw them drop one to West Branch earlier this year, and they came back and they gave it to the Warriors the second time around when they're healthy. And that's the thing with Mooney is they always kind of just hang around in the regular season in pretty much every sport. But when you get to the tournaments, and especially football is more a matter of if, but like when you get to tournaments, watch out for the Cards. We saw what happened in basketball when they were just kind of not treading water, but they were there. They were a good basketball team. They let you know exactly who they are come basketball season.
And they've got some solid wins this year. I mean, you can't deny it. They have good wins. They just have been a little bit inconsistent. I think that's their 8th loss of the season. Newton Falls got the win last night as they go under the lights to beat Camel Memorial 5-1. South Range baseball, they left no doubt in the world who was the better team. They beat Poland 10-0.
That's a huge win and a statement victory by the Raiders too.
The Clippers, they get back home. You know, they were on the road for 2 weeks, and their first home game back was Wednesday against East Palestine, and then they won against East Palestine. Now they win against East Liverpool. They walked off East Liverpool at Firestone. I don't know why my brain just shut down for a second.
You don't want to be from the East if you're facing them, it seems like.
Yeah, right. I didn't even put that together. East Liverpool, East Palestine, 2 wins in a row for the Clippers last night in walk-off fashion.
You go down to Columbiana, those compasses never point east. Never. They never point east.
West Branch baseball got the win over Struthers at Scene Park 12-1 as the Green Machine keeps on rolling on. West Branch softball celebrated senior night. They got the win over Canton South 14-0. We have other softball scores. Columbiana beat Lisbon 10-0 as they run rule the Blue Devils 11-0, excuse me. Ursuline gets the win over Walsh Jesuit, who is a Division I powerhouse, 2-1 in dramatic fashion. And they get the home win on YSU softball field. And let's see some other scores. Louisville hangs on to beat Mogador on the softball diamond last night as well. And then last but not least, we'll go where I was at, and South Range softball. And we knew it was going to be a good game. It absolutely was. South Range scored first, 2-0. Keely McDonald tied up the game with Ty missed a home run by this much in the left field corner. It would have been
taking the lead.
but it went off the fence in the corner for a 2 RBI double, and it tied up the game. It was tied until the top of the 7th when the Raiders got RBIs from Julie Stackowitz and Gretchen Bartels, and they went up 4-2, and that was all Samantha Suzanne needed to close the door in the 7th. Julie Stackowitz had a great day, 4 for 4 at the plate, made a great catch in the 7th on a little tiny pop-up in the infield. She came in and snow-coned it in the infield. A lot of good defense in this game. Abby Farber made a throw from her knees at second to get it out. Reagan Irons had a catch on a line drive at short. There was a lot of really good defense that goes overlooked in this game between really good pitchers in Keely McDonald and Sam Suzanne. So it came down to the wire like we knew it would. South Range gets to win. They move to first place in the 88. And now because Hubbard also lost to Lakeview last night, South Range has a 2-game lead they have 3 conference games left. So they have to play Girard twice still, and they have to continue that game with Hubbard next week. That'll be on Wednesday, where the Raiders are trailing 3-1.
Not without a fight, because Poland did put up a fight. Keely McDonald gave it a heck of an effort, too, not only in the circle, but at the plate, too. She did everything that she could do to try to keep this team in the game, and, did a phenomenal job. But Raiders, for the second time this season in the late innings, just timely hitting, and they were able to pull out some timely hits. Good at-bats by the Raiders to pull it out there, and great win for South Range because they've really set themselves up for this NE8 championship now.
South Range won both games against Poland now in the 7th inning. Sam Suzanne with a walk-off at home, and now in the top of the 7th, Julie Stackowitz and Gretchen Bartels both have RBI to give the Raiders the lead in the 7th. So both wins came down to the last inning, and South Range scored 4 runs in both, and it's 4-2. They get the win over Poland. And one of the things you look at when you look at one of the bugaboos for Poland that night, the bottom of their lineup, just they went over. And I think Sam Suzanne kind of had this mindset of limit the damage in the top of the lineup. Those hitters are really, really good. And then bottom of the lineup, she just dominated. No one after I think Keely McDonald batted 5th last night. So 6 through 9, no one got a hit in the game. So Sam Suzanne kind of cut the lineup in half, and that made a couple of innings really, really quick for her. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that really helps you out when you're in a pitching duel like she was.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's what you kind of try to need to do. And some pitchers will try to do that too, especially when you're facing good lineups such as the Bulldogs have. You're going to focus on one half of that lineup. And sometimes it's the first half of the lineup too. Whatever you're stronger against, and you're saying, I can't let these ones be ducks on the pond for the bats that I'm struggling against. And that's the biggest thing is don't let ducks be on the pond when timely hits do occur.
So here comes a really good pitcher in her own right. And we're going to be talking to Mckayley Thornhill from Jackson Milton as first of 5 interviews on Running Point as we bring her in from the green room. Mckayley, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Let's first and foremost just talk about this season. When we had Coach Ciccolelli on too, and when we talked with her, she talked about kind of how you guys needed to try to not find your identity as much, but you went through your struggles a little bit early in the season and got red hot and really started finding yourself too. From a player perspective, what did you see from the team? When did you guys really have it all figured out? And when did you realize that, okay, we're on track now?
We just started playing smoother. Everybody really gelled together, and we all just went with the flow of each other. And it was when we played Waterloo, we really were smooth and our hitting. And it was just we really gelled at that game, and that's when it all started, and we got the hot streak.
Getting some love in the comments already, Coach. When this team more than most in the softball world this year really had to struggle with stopping and starting. You had weeks off, 12 days off one time of the season, all because of weather. Talk about what it was like to try to stop and go and still try to keep momentum in this season.
It was just difficult to keep motivated because it was we might or might not have a game tomorrow, but then you kept just trying and having the mindset that we're going to play good like tomorrow if we have a game. And if we don't, we'll just practice hard and just work on getting better with it.
Being only a sophomore and being asked to command a lot of time in that circle is a job that comes with a lot of pressure. Talk to me about how you kind of handle those pressures and what you really see yourself learning on and picking up on as the season has gone along.
I just think I have a great defense behind me. So like hitters are supposed to hit. So when they hit, and the defense will get it down and we'll get the out. And I just think throw a strike and the hitter will hit it because that's their job and my job is to pitch it. So,
you lead the team in wins with in the circle with a 4-2 record, ERA just over 3. I mean, you come in. I'm sure you didn't expect to be the team's leader in innings pitched, but some injuries have forced you to step into that role. What has it been like seeing yourself grow this season and seeing yourself kind of been thrown into the fire in the circle and see yourself come out the other side with these results that are so impressive?
I'm like proud of myself and the team because like I didn't think I would do this good, honestly. Like I wasn't as confident at first, and then now that I've had a lot more time in the circle and it's just a lot easier now with confidence, and it's just I'm not as unconfident as I was, and I've just grown with that.
Talking about building that confidence, is there a quote or a phrase or something that you are finding yourself telling yourself to do, or maybe just a routine that you do when you got runners on base and, maybe you don't have your best stuff for a few pitches? How do you kind of recompose yourself, refocus, and build that confidence again?
I don't really have a quote, but I just make sure to breathe and stay loose and just think positive, like, okay, I got this, and just not get down on myself. And yeah,
I think one of the biggest mysteries in softball and baseball are what goes on in the circle meetings or on the mountain meetings. And so take us through Jackson Milton's meetings in the circle when your catcher comes out or when Coach Mckayley comes out. What kind of things go on in there, and how much of it is just saying a joke to get your mind off of it, and how much is it actual like strategic adjustments that you have to make?
We'll be like, okay, it's not that much harm, and we'll like get back with it, and it's just a little bump in the road to a win, and just to keep our heads up and not let it bring us down.
We gotta ask about the Cotton Eye Joe dance, because it seems like you guys are doing this all the time now, and I mean the dancing's kind of been your response to the rainouts. I gotta ask, who's the best dancer too, and where did this Cotton Eye Joe dance come from?
I think Emily Foltz is one of our best dancers when we do the Cotton Eye Joe because she's just confident with it. But we just do it to get loose, and we were like, it works because we started doing it and then we started winning. So we're like, maybe it's like a good luck charm or something. And now we just do it to have fun, to get loose and get ready for the game.
Was there someone that suggested like, hey, let's dance the Cotton Eye Joe real quick, see what it does? I mean, how'd that even like start?
Well, it was the rain out, and definitely in travel, like since I do travel, like if you're waiting, you just have like a dance battle with the other team. So we were like, let's just put on some dance music and dance and see if the other team does it.
What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned under Coach Mckayley in the short time that you've had under her as a high school softball player?
I learned to just have confidence in myself, that I can do whatever I put my mind to, and like I can trust my team because I know they got my back, and to just have confidence in everything that I do.
You guys have a ton of senior leadership on this team, really good seniors that know how to led other sports as well. Talk about what it's like to be with this senior group and to get led by them and to learn from them, and what lessons you're going to take going forward when they graduate.
Yeah, a lot of the seniors I played multiple sports with. So, like, I've always just looked up to them because they just keep pushing through all the hard, like, times. Like, when we had all the rainouts, like my coach said, that they just kept having a positive mindset with it. And I, like, really looked up to that. And I'm just going to try not to, like, be like them, but really, like, follow in their footsteps, like, in the next years.
I guess a question that kind of goes hand in hand. What does it mean to you to kind of represent Jackson Milton, be able to wear that across your chest. And I mean, you're the one in the circle, so you dictate the tone and everything, and you're really one of those big representatives too on the defensive end for Jackson Milton softball.
Yeah, I just think to just play for the team and myself, because my dad also went to Jackson Milton. So then I'm like, okay, I got to follow in his footsteps and really go with it through Jackson Milton.
And so I want to ask, because I know Carla Blankenford isn't on the softball team, but obviously she's been living with you all season.
Yeah.
What has it been like to get I want a sister for a year, to be able to experience basketball with her and to go through this experience with her of her coming over to the States and like I said, getting a sister for the year.
Yeah, it was nice, and it's definitely different, but like I have a brother, so then having a sister was like, oh my gosh, I have a sister. And it was nice because then I could share, like, just be friends with her, and she lived with me. It's nice.
Talking about being in that Jackson Milton community, and aside from sports, what are some things that you do to kind of relieve some pressures of the world too? What are some hobbies that you have, or what are some things you do to kind of take your mind off of softball and sports?
We do like 4-H pigs. So when like after games and stuff, I go out sometimes or like every day and like feed the pigs and just hang out with them almost and just like get them ready for the fair in the summer.
All right, Mckayley, let's have some rapid fire questions, get to know you a little bit off the field. I guess I'll start with what's your favorite dessert?
I like a lot of desserts, but I like pumpkin pie a lot, and if that's like not in season, it's just like straight up ice cream.
When you go, oh geez, I lost my track. Ice cream. What's the best ice cream out there?
We go to Handel's a lot, and I like the Oreo, where it's like Oreo and cookie dough.
All right, so I think this is going to answer my next question because you like the cookie dough ice cream, but cookies or cake?
It depends on what kind it is, but I like cookies.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunsets.
Books or movies?
Books, probably.
What was the last book you read?
I'm reading Gone Girl now. I don't remember who it's from.
Cats or dogs?
Both.
Both. I love it. Salty or sweet?
Salty.
All right. What's your favorite vacation spot?
Probably Colorado.
Use 3 words to describe yourself.
Quiet, kind, and athletic, and like fast that way.
All right. Night owl or early morning or early to rise?
Early morning.
All right. What's your favorite breakfast food?
Probably bacon.
If you were going on a trip far away, would you want to drive or fly there?
Probably fly.
Would you rather travel to the past or travel to the future? That's a good one.
The past.
All right. So if you were going to go to the past, what time period would you want to go and who would you want to meet?
Like the 80s or 90s. And I don't know who I'd want to meet because I just want to be in that time and meet the people there, like just around.
If you could have dinner with anyone right now, living or dead, who would you want to have dinner with?
Probably my grandpa.
Would you like what's your favorite subject in school?
Math.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Thank you. Last one we'll get before we get you out of here. What is your favorite genre of music?
I listen to everything. Like I have a wide range, but probably country.
All right, with that, if you got a walk-up song, what would it be?
My walk-up song now is You Should See Me in a Crown by Billie Eilish.
There you go. All right. Mckayley, before we let you go, we like to give our student athletes the chance to thank their support system and the people that are there for them throughout their journey. So I want to give you the time to thank the people that are there for you and the people that you really wouldn't be here without.
Yeah, I really thank my parents and definitely my dad, because my dad, the way he comes to all the games is to do the scorebook, and I always hear him with everything I do, pitching and all that. And just like everyone, my friends, family, coaches, just everybody.
Getting more love from the comment section from our
Yeah.
You're very popular in our comment section, and we thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Yep.
We look forward to continuing our coverage of you throughout your journey, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Mckayley Thornhill, a prominent member of that Jackson Milton softball team and in the circle, has done so much for the Blue Jays, and probably a lot that a lot of people, including her, didn't expect that was going to be asked of her this season. You know, she leads the team in innings pitched. She has an ERA just above 3, doing a really good job. And one of the, like I said, with Hallie, when we had her on from Springfield yesterday, kind of got introduced to Thornhill in the circle on Monday when I got to see her live for the first time. And she pitched a heck of a game. Tough luck loss against Springfield 2-1, but both pitchers were on the money. And I said, we have to get both these people on Running Point. And hey, we did.
We're almost going to need to get a upcoming and rising stars game for the baseball, softball, all-star game. We're going to need like freshman and sophomore only games, just because of how much talent there is in freshman and sophomore classes from around the area. It's nuts what the talent levels we're seeing around the area and what all these girls and guys are capable of doing. And it's impressive.
A Ysn Futures game.
I think I'd be down for that, honestly. All freshmen and sophomores in it too. I've seen my fair share in just the short amount of teams that I've seen this year. I think that you could definitely compile a team. There's a lot of freshmen and sophomore starters on varsity, both baseball and softball.
That was the first of many interviews that we're going to have today. Julie Stakowicz will be coming up at 12:30. Don't miss that. And then we'll have back-to-back interviews from Columbiana baseball with Riley Mccelwain, Eddie Clancy, and Trevor Deering, all joining us, all seniors on the Clippers team, from 12:45 to 1:15. Getting some more love in the comments from the Thornhill family, and Riley Headley, one of the players on Jackson Milton, also chiming in. So we love the love from our community to our student athletes, and we thank you all for tuning into that interview. We're going to take a quick break, and on the other end, we will talk to Julie Stakowicz from South Range Softball. Don't go anywhere. This is Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens. On air, online. Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
And on the 21 News social media platforms. 21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees. Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
But now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, Well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. You just got to hear from Mike Ackelson, and we love hearing from that man, and we can't wait to hear from him again at YSN at the start of the football season. But
I love watching all of their commercials too, like all the YSN staffs. Like I think all of them did a great job. Mike's is fantastic too. It's a great one.
he's a professional, and we're going to talk to someone who might be considered a professional in the softball realm, Dooley Stakowitz from South Range. Dooley, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, let's first and foremost, just because it's timely, let's talk about last night's game and just ask, when is the next hit too many? Is there ever too many hits? I mean, it seems like you can't get enough of them. Talk to me about what you were seeing at that plate last night, and did it being the Poland Bulldogs have a little bit of extra influence in the focus at the plate?
Well, I came into that game knowing that I was most likely going to get a lot of outside pitches because last game I kind of struggled on that. So I had a hitting lesson the night before with my hitting coach, Kerrigan Yannick, and we worked on a lot of outside for that.
And when you look at it, and Ty asked it too, I mean, when we talked to DeRose before the season, he said that Poland series last season stuck in you guys. You know, it was one that you guys, even in the coaching staff, weren't happy about. So when you come into Poland this year and you get 2 wins, is that a confidence boost for you guys as a program to say, okay, we kind of got through the team that we couldn't get through last year?
Yeah, it definitely brings our spirits up a lot because last year we had Bree Kohler, Jillian Strakansky, and we couldn't beat them. And this year we just proved that we can do anything without them.
Let's talk about this whole Myrtle trip too, and just some of the success that you guys had down there. Did it kind of help add in the motivation in this kind of second half of the season push in the games you guys have gotten? Because it seems like a lot of these conference games, with the exception of the one against Lakeview, you guys have been dominant in.
Yeah, it helps. We saw some tough competition down in Myrtle, and me and Sam, we've been splitting pitching time, so every game's going to be different. You're never going to know. Your defense has to play 100% and your hitting has to be great.
You and Sam are both pitching well, but you're also hitting well. Talk about what it's like to go through the mental change of being in the circle and then having to get ready for a trip to the box.
It definitely takes a lot on you, but you just kind of have to not really think about it. You just have to know that your team's going to be there even if you struggle in the box, struggle pitching and stuff.
Do you feel any kind of pressures to kind of uphold the South Range Raider name of what they've done in softball in recent years? And if so, how do you kind of handle that and use that to your motivation and advantage?
I mean, yeah, I feel the pressure because last year we made it to the state finals. We lost. We were runners up. And this year we just want to be as good, if not better than that team last year. And definitely that motivation definitely helps a lot.
I think a lot of people talk about what the South Range team lost after last year, which was a lot. You lost, a Division I pitcher and a college shortstop, but you returned 7 players from that team. How hungry is this program and this roster to get back to where you were last year?
We're so eager because we brought up 3 freshmen. They're great. We have our 2 sophomores and all 5 of us juniors and stuff. Like we all like each other. So that definitely helps a lot.
Is it kind of like a chip on your shoulder that you're using it going into the season, saying like we can get back there and we can do this again?
Yeah, I have 100% faith in all of us. We just have to make sure we're 100%. We're always in the game.
We all see the results on the field. Talk about the work ethic of this team off the field and in practices and in the off season, and how much work this program puts in to be as good as it is.
We put in our 110% every practice. We all have fun. We all laugh with each other. We all like each other. We're always hitting. We're always fielding every practice. There's no exception for that.
Let's just talk about the list of things that have memorable that have happened in this season, from going to Myrtle to you guys combined no-hitters. I mean, it's been a great season for you guys, and you in particular. Talk to me about some of your favorite memories of this season and some of your favorite memories with South Range softball overall.
Well, number one memory, always going down to Myrtle, always being able to be with the team, making that special bond because most teams don't get the chance to do that. Definitely beating Poland twice because last year we didn't. We couldn't get it out of us. So
What was the favorite memory this year from Myrtle Beach?
This year, we finally were able to have everyone in one room, so everyone got along. The seniors all talked to us. The freshmen opened up to us. We went to Rio's this year finally. We didn't get to go there last year, which was good.
Let's talk about some of the things you do outside of the softball world. What are some of your favorite hobbies to kind of unwind and take your mind off the sport from time to time?
Well, softball, my whole family's in it. My brother's in baseball, always doing it. But other than that, I do watch TV a lot. I'm kind of with my friends, with my boyfriend. So
What's the favorite show then? What's like the go-to show, or what's the go-to thing to watch on TV?
probably Grey's Anatomy.
What, 14 seasons now?
A lot.
A lot. It's a lot. Talk about what it's like, in the travel ball scene. And obviously you're strong in the summer and you do a lot in the summer. How much do you think travel ball and the teams that you play for and the teams you play against help you grow as a player?
It helps so much because different competition, seeing different people and stuff. Like, my mom's going to put us in the best tournaments to help us get where we want to go, because all of us want to go to college. And she just wants to see us achieve those dreams. So everything's going to be harder, and it's going to be harder.
In the list of fields that you've played on, let's say with the exception of home field, with the exception of at South Range, what's your favorite softball field to play on?
The Akron Racer Stadium. I played there a few times during travel ball, played championships there and stuff. So
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully she says Firestone, because that's where you win a state championship. Let's go. When you look at what makes you proud to be a South Range Raider and proud to represent this program and the school system, what are some of the things that come to mind?
Well, everyone here at the school likes each other. There's so much school spirit. Everyone enjoys going to football games, going to basketball if they can, wrestling even. Our wrestling team did great this year. So just everyone's so spirited, and all the teachers are amazing.
Do you feel like there's some truth to that? Success breeds success. So a team winning, or the wrestling team winning state championship, do you think something like that can really inspire and help lead to success in other sports such as softball and baseball?
Yeah, because if you see your friends, your sisters, your brothers, your cousins doing good, you want to do good.
What is one teacher in the South Range school system that has impacted your journey?
I would have to say Mrs. Rowan. I've had her so far 2 years now, and I love math. Math's one of my favorite subjects, so I'm always able to go talk to her if I want to too, and she always helps me out on everything.
What's some of the best advice you've ever received, whether it's from a coach, teacher, player, what have you?
To keep going, even if you feel like you're not doing the greatest at it, just to keep trying, just don't give up.
While we're talking about coach advice, talk about Coach DeRose, what it's like to be under him and Coach Farron and this whole coaching staff, and what they've taught you about yourself as a player and as a person.
They've taught me so much. I respect them all a lot. They all treat us like we are their kids in a sense. They love us so much. They've shown us so much about the sport.
Talk about some of the role models you've had going up into South Range softball program and some of the people you looked up to going into South Range.
I've always looked up to Bree Kohler ever since I met her freshman year. And other than that, coming in freshman year, I didn't really know many people. So it was kind of a struggle, and everyone was very nice and welcoming.
And obviously Bree's busy doing YSU, but I have seen her at a couple of games. So when you have alumni like that, and Kerrigan was at the game last night, when you have Raider alumni come to your games and support you guys, what does that mean to you guys as a team?
It just shows that even the ones who played and have succeeded in it, that they still support us, and they still think that every team after them can succeed like they did.
Julie, what we like to do, we always like to give our student athletes that chance to give thanks to the people that have been there to support them, been there in the stands for them, and have been there throughout their entire softball career. So I want to give you the chance to do that.
I just want to thank my whole family, my mom, my dad, my aunt, my stepdad, my stepmom, my whole family. I mean, most of my family was there yesterday watching that win against Poland. My Aunt Lindsay, my cousin Tori are there whenever they can, because Tori does play softball at Boardman. So.
All right, before we let you go, Julie, we got to get some rapid fire questions in to get to know you a little bit off the field. You ready?
Yep.
All right, so here we go. What was your last impulse buy?
Probably, I think I bought a pair of leggings.
What is the weirdest thing that your pet does at home? And you can choose if you have multiple pets.
She shakes like a lot. Like she'll just like get scared at the most randomest moments and she'll start shaking.
All right, we'll stay with the pet question. If your pet could talk, what do you think they would say to you?
Probably tell me and my brothers to shut up because we always fight a lot.
What are the most likely 3 words someone would use to describe you?
Probably outgoing, kind, and smart.
All right, what mythical creature do you wish that was real?
A unicorn.
Sunset or sunrise?
Sunset.
What is the easiest school subject that you have in high school right now?
Math, because it's just I understand it all and it's just easy for me to handle.
All right, this is a good one. What world record do you think you would have a shot at beating?
I don't know, honestly.
What is your favorite vacation spot?
Daytona Beach in Florida.
What's your nickname if you have one? And if you don't, what do you wish your nickname was?
Well, my dad calls me Golia off the movie Wedding Singer. But other than that, I really don't have one.
What fictional death hit you the hardest? I know you watch a lot of TV shows.
Probably Derek Shepherd, Grey's Anatomy.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
What's your best advice for players coming up in the South Range program?
Just to always be in the moment. Don't ever take a backseat. Like everyone else you may think is better around you, but they probably aren't.
What is one thing you know now that you wish you learned sooner?
That not everything is about how good you do. It's about how you come back from it.
All right. And before we let you go, what is your favorite guilty pleasure dessert?
Sugar pie that my uncle Dustin makes.
I actually do have one more because we're talking about guilty pleasure. What is one song in your playlist that you listen to that you think you would be embarrassed that you have on your playlist?
I listen to a lot of country, so I don't know. Most of my friends, my family, all like country, and I'm basically listening to the same things that everyone else listens to.
There you go, Julie. Thank you so much for joining us today and giving us insight into the South Range program. We love covering you. We look forward to your continued success and talking to you again real soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Julie Stackerwitz from South Range Softball joining us live on Running Point with me and Ty, and we had a great chance to talk to her. And that's our first South Range Softball representative on the player side of things. And we can't wait to get some more as they go along in the tournament, which we feel will be a long tournament run. And, we would assume would be a long tournament run.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, they've looked great too. And I mean, we've seen how much respect they've gotten within the coaches' polls too. And they've done a great job. I expect big things from the South Range softball team.
I want to share some love that Julie got in the comments from the Strines family. And
softball is just a big family.
I know Patty Huff giving her some love as well in the comments. We appreciate everyone that supports the student athletes that we cover. And we know that we wouldn't be where we are as a company without the people that support the athletes that we cover. And by doing so, support us as well. We have more interviews on today. Don't go anywhere because we got Columbiana baseball coming and taking care of you for the next, 45 minutes probably. Because we got Riley Mccelwain at 12:45. We have Eddie Clancy at 1 and Trevor Deering at 1:15.
Yep. And just got the link sent over to them again, to apparently a little bit of an issue with the first one sent out to them. So they're getting all that now. But yep, we should be all good for that one as we await Riley Mccelwain to lead us off to all 3 seniors in this Columbiana Clipper program too.
Oh,
so
you know what? I know we just took a break, but since we probably won't have one for the next hour, let's take one more and we'll be back with
pay some bills.
Riley Mccelwain of Columbiana Baseball after this break on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Sorry about that delay. My wires got all tangled in my chair, and I was sitting there like, oh, this is going to end badly. So I had to untangle myself. This is Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Always something. You never know what you're going to get on live streaming, but you know you're going to get Riley Mccelwain from Columbiana Baseball. He is joining us from Columbiana. Riley, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's first and foremost talk about this pitching staff that you're a part of too, and you're one of the leaders on it too. And what is one of the most dangerous parts of this Columbiana team? Talk to me about leading this pitching staff too, and what makes you guys so dangerous one after another.
Leading it's very cool. Me and Zach Pleska, the other senior part of our starting pitchers, kind of put it upon ourselves at the beginning of the season to be leaders for the younger guys like Seth and Devin and Alex. And I think what makes us so dangerous is just the difference in skill set. We have guys that throw very hard, guys that have good off speed, guys that can locate, guys that can control the running game as well. So those are some of our strengths, and I think we utilize them very well.
When you have so many good arms in the pitching staff, does that take pressure off of you to go out there and, you don't have to have your A game every single night. You don't have to feel like you're carrying the weight of this pitching staff on your shoulders?
Definitely. Last year, I was put in a pretty tough situation at the beginning of the year because Seth Spooner was still coming off a elbow injury, and Zach Pleska actually got COVID at the beginning of the year. So just coming into this year and knowing that I don't have to go out every game and win us games is a very relieving feeling.
Talk about pitching wise. I mean, you're one of the lowest ERAs on the team too. I mean, don't allow a whole lot of runs too. Talk to me about that mentality of bending but not breaking to letting guys on base but not letting them cross the plate too. What kind of things you do to compose yourself and keep yourself focused throughout those situations?
So I'd say something I do when there's pressure on me is I'm very good at controlling the running game. I have a good pickoff move to first base, and we have a very good catcher in Colin Kellerman who doesn't let guys advance on pass balls far too often. So it's not easy, but it's definitely not too much pressure to go out there and just throw strikes and get outs.
We got to talk about this Columbiana community because you won Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley a couple of weeks ago, and it's because of the Columbiana community that went out and voted for you. What did that make you feel like, and what makes you so proud to represent this community and to represent the Clippers?
It was awesome. One of our coaches teaches in the middle school, and he had his kids in the classrooms just voting for me over and over again for the first few minutes of class every day while the polls were still open. So it's really nice to know that the community has our back and wants to see us succeed in any way we can.
Another guy that wants to see you succeed in pretty much any way he can too is Coach Wolf. Talk to me about playing under Coach for the last few years of your career too, and what that's meant to you, and what are some things you've learned under Coach Wolf?
It's awesome. One of the things that he really values is our opinions, especially us senior class. He will ask us, like, what do you guys want to work on at practice today? What do you guys think went wrong at the game if something did go wrong? And he really values our opinions, which is super. It helps our confidence as a team because we know that our coach has our back.
All right, so everyone sees him on the field and the way he composes himself on the field. Talk about what Coach Wolf is like off the field in practices and with this team, and something that you think people should know that maybe they don't about Coach Wolf.
Off the field, he's awesome. We can joke around with him and have fun with him, but also we're serious when we need to be to get better. And something that most people wouldn't know about him is he's baseball through and through, not just with us. He loves MLB baseball. He watches college baseball. He keeps up on guys that are playing college that went to Columbiana, like Chase. So he's just a real baseball guy.
Talk to me about playing for this baseball team too. What were some of the goals you had going into this season, and where are they lining up right now?
So our first goal was to win the EOAC again. We dropped a tough one at United, but we're still tied for first, and we play them, I believe, next Friday, which will be pretty much the league championship game. And that's a huge game for us, but I think we got it. We should go out there and just play our game, and we'll be good. Another goal we had was to be a top 4 seed going into the tournament. That comes out this Sunday, I believe, but it's looking like that goal will be met.
I know you guys spent a long time away from Firestone Stadium, I think 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like to return home and get back into that home field advantage?
It was very nice going out and just being comfortable with our surroundings again and knowing exactly like our timeline, when to get to the park, when to start warming up, when to do our stretches, all that stuff. It's very nice to just have a set plan what you're doing, and it's so much easier to do when you're at home.
In your high school experience, you've now not only encountered a season that did not happen in 2020, but you also have now encountered a season with rain that we have not seen in the likes of no other, with games getting delayed, canceled, moved all the time. What have you taken away from your high school experience and the games that you have experienced, and what have you taken away from this season in particular?
Just be ready to play whenever you can. There was a point in time where we didn't play a game in, I think, like 12 days or something like that. We started one at United, but it got rained out in the second inning. So just for us, it's just staying sharp at practice and continuing to get better, even with the weather, and only control the things that you can control.
You know, with that and along the same lines, we've had a lot of coaches and a couple of pitchers tell us that they've had to struggle with, trying to keep their arms warm and trying to stay away from arm soreness during the stops and starts of the season. How have you navigated that and trying to keep yourself as healthy as possible?
Our pitching coach, Coach Sluter, does a great job of helping us with that. We, at practice, we're lucky to have a batting cage, and we can put a portable mound in there. So if our games keep getting canceled, we can throw live at-bats to our position players and keep our arms healthy. We have good arm care programs with the bands and the plyo balls to just help us stay healthy. And we stretch before every practice. And so far, it hasn't been an issue for us. It's just staying sharp with your program.
With all the great coaches that you've had throughout your baseball career, what's the most impactful thing one of them's told you?
I'd say just play your game and not worry about the outside noise.
All right, let's get some rapid fire questions to get to know you off the field a little bit. And we'll start with, what was the last movie you went to see in a theater?
I saw the new Batman when it came out.
What is your favorite thing to do off the field?
Hang out with my friends, play video games.
What's the go-to video game right now for you?
Right now, it's Valorant.
All right. If your pets could talk, what would you think they would say about you?
I actually don't have any pets.
Okay. If your best friend's pet or whatever
Okay.
pet you see the most. If they could talk, what would they say about you?
Oh, probably why I talk so much.
What is your most strongly held belief?
Just staying true to yourself and being kind to people, and they'll be kind to you.
If you were to travel back in time, what period would you want to go to, and who would you want to meet?
I'd like to go to the Roman Empire, meet just like one of the Roman soldiers.
Just a random soldier?
Any soldier.
I love it. What is the kindest thing that a stranger has ever done for you?
One time I got into like a little fender bender, and a mailman stopped over and made sure that I was okay.
Gotta love our postal workers. What is the best gift you've ever received?
I have a custom glove. That's probably the best gift I've ever received.
Lucky. Okay. What is one thing that you know now that you wish you learned sooner?
I wish I started hitting the weight room sooner.
What is your favorite guilty pleasure dessert?
Cheesecake.
And last but not least, what is the last show you binge watched on Netflix?
Breaking Bad.
All right, Riley, before we let you go, we do want to give you the chance to thank your support system, the people that are always there for you, and the people that you wouldn't be where you are in your journey without.
Definitely my parents, my friends, my grandparents, all my coaches at Columbiana, all my classmates at Columbiana, freshmen through seniors, even the middle schoolers who, like I said earlier, helped me win the Big Dog of the Week, and all my family.
All right, Riley, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to covering you the rest of the season and your continued success. We wish you the best of luck, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, Riley Mccelwain, one of these seniors that we're going to have on today from Columbiana baseball.
Just a little bit of a lull between seniors.
Are they using the same device?
Yeah, I believe so.
So
So we're going to go right into Eddie. I believe Eddie Clancy next up at once. So it should be seamless switches. So with that,
Jordan, here's Eddie Clancy, who is joining us live from Columbiana. Eddie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
let's first and foremost talk about this season experience for you. We talked about the rainouts with Riley a bit too, but we got to talk about it with you as well. Talk to me about battling through the rain and trying to always stay ready, what that means to you, and how have you been able to take that this season?
You know, it's kind of heartbreaking when you're like in the middle of class and then you get that tweet from Wolf saying that the game has been postponed, and you just have to think about like, what are you going to do at practice today and make sure that even though you're not having a game, you're going to get into the cage and swing as good as you can, make sure that you're working on anything you need to work on. So when we do finally get that game, then you're ready.
One, Eddie, the hat game is strong. I love it. It's a sharp hat. When you're looking at this season and the stops and the starts, and like Ty said, trying to find momentum, what has been the biggest thing that you guys have done to really get confidence and get momentum in this season?
I think it's the energy. As you can see, we went on that 10-game streak there, and our energy's always like been really up. And I think that when we're playing as a team and everyone's like into the game, then it just boosts everyone else's confidence, and then we play better as a team.
Who was a role model you had coming in as a freshman going into this Columbiana program, and how did you translate that and become a mentor now to see in your senior year?
Probably Evan Keneally. I started as a freshman as a first baseman, and he was really like the person that guided me into all the ins and outs of high school baseball, and I really thank him for that.
Like you said, you started as a freshman. What do you think, if you looked at freshman Eddie to senior Eddie now, what are the biggest things you've grown in and the biggest things you've learned throughout your high school career?
I think the biggest difference was, this year I did switch to second base. I think that learning like how to find what I'm better at as a player, switching to second, I really found myself, and I was able to do a lot more in the field than I was at first. And then batting wise, I think being able to just see the pitches better and really work on those as I got like older and stronger, and it's just made me a lot better.
Use this advice for incoming freshmen as well, but what is something that senior Eddie would suggest to freshman Eddie to do more, looking back at your whole career now?
Definitely hit the weight room a lot sooner and try and get bigger. I was very small my freshman year.
What about school? Talk about the favorite subjects and some of the teachers in the school system that have really impacted your journey.
I think Wolf, not just as a baseball coach, as a teacher, able to take his classes and his elective broadcast. That's actually how I found out what I want to do in college. I think the electives here are really nice because you get to see a lot, and I know a lot of students here really found out what they're going to do in college based off the electives here.
So break the news. What is it? What is it you want to go into college for? What's the plans then for Eddie?
I'm going to go into digital media production at Slippery Rock. Going to be behind the scenes of like, say, your show or something like that.
You know, I just got to say, a chair is always open at YSN after you get your degree. You know, don't be afraid to call us up. When you look at some of the things that you set as a personal goal coming into this season, what were some of the goals you set? And then now that you look at it, we're almost at the end of the season. How would you grade yourself on those goals that you set and how well you've done it in accomplishing them?
I think at the beginning of the year, my goals were to be 100% in the field. Currently, I've kept that goal. And then batting, I've struggled a little bit lately in these past few games, but hopefully by the end of May and going into June that I will be able to get my batting average up and complete all my goals of hitting as well as fielding.
You guys play a tough schedule, and you got some really good wins under your belt this season too. Talk to me about that mentality you have to have playing up divisions and being a Division III school, playing Division I schools, playing Division II schools, and very good Division II and Division I schools at that.
I think just going in, not really caring about divisions. We look at ourselves as Columbiana baseball and not, we're a small D3 school. We know that we have the ability to beat D1 and D2 schools. And so we're going to go in there and we're going to play as hard as we possibly can and play to the best of our ability, which is being able to beat those D1, D2 schools.
Yeah, and you had some really big wins on the year against those D1 and D2 schools. What kind of confidence does that give you guys going forward, going into this tournament where you're not going to see teams that big? You're going to see teams that are more in your level. What kind of confidence does that give this program going forward?
I think it gives us a lot of confidence looking at the people around us and the people in our division, knowing that we can beat the top schools in our area and higher divisions, that when we finally come back down to D3, that it's going to give us a lot of confidence that we'll be able to beat them and we can go in there and play our best. And we know that in the end, we'll come out on top.
Talking about going on a 10-game win streak to start the season before dropping a few games. Obviously, dropping a few games can be seen as a momentum killer, but is there a way that you guys can flip that? And if so, how have you guys been able to flip those losses into generating more momentum?
I'm glad that we had these losses like right now, because it shows us how a loss feels. And now we know how bad it hurts to like lose, especially 4 straight. And it's really given us the energy and the will to win when we kind of got into a little slow slump there. But now, as we saw last night with the walk-off, just the energy and everyone being into the game, like all watching, like yelling, screaming to our batters, just to get everyone the momentum to keep going. It really gives us the will to win.
Eddie, if I were to ask a underclassman in next year after you graduate, what kind of impact you left on this program, what would you hope their answer would be?
I'd hope that, like we have shirts and like our practice shirts, and everyone has a different role. And I'm a bore, so it's really like getting down, doing the dirty work, stuff that's not going to be seen like in the papers much or be really known. Like I'm not like no home runs or crazy like pitching, but I hope that they see me as a solid player that got the job done when he needed to.
Let's talk about the influence that Coach Ryan Wolf has had on you too. No doubt, you talked about him as a teacher too. But what are some of the biggest lessons you've taken away from Coach Wolf?
I think Coach is ability to listen. He coming into this year, we all had a talk. All the seniors, we had a meeting with him, and just seeing how well he listened to us and let us help be a huge part of this team. Just seeing how nice it is that when people listen to you, I think that's a really good aspect that he has, is being able to listen.
We know that with success and the success of this program that they've had the last couple of years comes outside pressure and outside expectations. How have you guys been able to handle that and keep it contained to you guys and what you guys are doing and not hear the outside noise and let it get to you?
Wolf told us at the beginning of the year, he said that people are going to talk. And when we verse those D1 schools, it's oh, why are you even playing those teams? They're higher divisions. But then he also said that when we do beat those teams, it's nice to listen to the public and say, oh, wow, you're beating those D1 teams, and let the good stuff come in and take the confidence from it, and then push out all the bad stuff when it's not as positive.
Talking about this being your senior season, we talked with Riley, and he mentioned about conference championships obviously being on the mind, as well as a nice tournament run would obviously be great for Columbiana too. Talk to me about how big this game against United is going to be for you guys, and how much of a confidence boost you think that would be before a tournament run.
I think going into the first game against them, we were coming up 10-0, and then that game did get rained out. But we really saw that we need to play our best all the time, and we know that teams can still beat us. And I think if we beat them, when we beat them on Friday, the confidence is going to jump way up, because then we know that teams that even beat us, we can still come out and play our best and win those games, and we know that we can win the tough ones.
All right, let's get to some rapid fire questions to get to know you off the field a little bit. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
All right, what is your favorite dinner meal, entree? If you had I'm gonna do this. If you had a last meal, if you were on death row for some unforeseen reason that we hope you never get on death row for any reason, but if you were and you had a last meal, what would you want it to be?
Definitely a medium rare ribeye steak.
What are the sides? We want the whole meal. You're going to Outback, you need sides, you need a drink too.
Some fresh cut French fries and an ice cold lemonade.
Always making me hungry when I ask these kind of questions. Do you have pets? And if you do, you don't.
I do not have pets.
Let me in a baseball, no pets on the team. Okay, what pet would you want to have? If you could have any pet in the world, any animal, what would you want to have?
I want to have a fennec fox. I think they're so cool.
All right. If you were to go back in time, who would you want to meet, and what era would you want to go to?
The Roaring 20s.
Ooh. Would you want to meet anyone from that area?
I would want to be one of the famous people, and just being able to meet all the people from that era and how they were doing it, and learn all the stock market and stuff like that before, of course, the crash.
Before the crash, yeah.
Yeah.
If you could have dinner with anybody, living or dead, who would you want to have dinner with?
I would want to have dinner with Michael Jordan.
All right, what's your favorite thing about being a baseball player?
Favorite part about being a baseball player? Probably the brotherhood amongst the team.
I know we had to do a lot of virtual learning back in the COVID years. What was the one subject that you hated doing virtual learning with?
Spanish.
What is one thing that you hope people will say about you if we were to ask to describe Eddie Clancy?
Smart.
What was the last Netflix show that you binge watched?
Last Netflix show I binge watched was,
It's been a while.
Bridgerton.
All right. What fictional death hit you the hardest?
Fictional, definitely May in Spider-Man.
Oh, that's a buzz one. On a scale of 1 to 10, how messy is your room right now?
Right now, like 10 being the worst.
10 being like you can't even get through anything.
A 2.
Oh, that's good. Good job. I think your parents would be happy about that. If you were to own your own company, what would you want it to sell or advance in?
I'd want to sell computers.
What was your last impulse buy?
Huh?
What was your last impulse buy?
Last impulse buy was a lacrosse stick.
Do you play like lacrosse recreationally?
I'm just starting to learn. I think it's so cool, so I want to learn how to play.
What teammate do you get in the most mischief with?
Definitely the next one, Trevor Deering.
All right. Eddie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. But before we let you go, we do want to give you the time to thank your support system, the people that are always there for you, and the people you wouldn't be here without.
Definitely want to thank my parents, always pushing me to be the best, and then my friends that I've grown up with.
All right, Eddie, thank you so much for the time and coming on to join us. We love talking to you. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the year, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
Eddie Clancy, another senior from Columbiana baseball, joining us live, and we're just going to have another rotation. Like, here it comes. Trevor Deering's going to be next.
Yeah, next one up, right? Next one up. We got a huge part of the show dedicated to Columbiana baseball before we get to some games and other business of the night too. Going on this weekend, obviously, too. Not tonight, but other business too for YSN.
All right, Trevor Deering joins us. And Trevor, thank you so much for taking the time and being with us today on Running Point.
Thank you so much for having me.
As Trevor, let's just talk about this as we got to talk to a couple of your teammates. I want to know right now who's the goofiest of the teammates too. Who's the one that can really just get a chuckle out of you whenever you need and just lightens the mood.
It's got to be the tandem of Baden Pipoli and Seth Spooner. Those two are inseparable, and those two just make me crack up whenever I'm with them.
From your perspective, what's it been like with this crazy April weather, stopping, starting, trying to get momentum, trying to find a rhythm?
It's definitely been weird. Like even playing football with COVID, it was still like a consistent thing where you would have to wear a mask and then go practice. But now it's like you're going to play today or you might not even have practice today and we can't even go outside. Honestly, this year we've only had a few outside practices as a full varsity team. That's honestly unheard of. I've always had like a couple weeks of outside practice on the dirt and the grass. So just having the rain all year, not being able to get on the field, it's definitely weird.
Talk to me about when you have these games too, what you have to do to kind of keep yourself focused in between too. I mean, it can't be easy too with the rain that's coming and going. It's canceling games like that, 12 days off. What are you kind of doing in that long wall period to simulate baseball experience?
So as a team, we kind of have this app on our phone called Baseball Clash, and we play that just like it's baseball and just playing baseball. Also, BP, we have that almost every day, and then we do simulations on the floor in our gym just to get the feel of playing baseball and staying in it.
Tell me one thing about Coach Wolf that people don't know that you think they should.
Coach Wolf is on the field. He's definitely very stern. When he doesn't see a call that he likes, he'll definitely voice his opinion. But as a team, he's really a really friendly coach. He's a very friendly guy. He'll always ask you about your day. He'll always make sure you're doing good in the classroom. He'll make sure everything out of school is going well. So he's just a genuinely great guy to be around and have as a head coach. He's someone you can go and talk to.
Talk to me about the ability to stay competitive this year. I mean, you guys are still at the tops for the EOAC despite having all the rain, just like everybody else, though, of course. But talk to me about these goals that you guys are so close to meeting, too. What are some things you need to do to shore up that you're going to meet these goals at the end of the season?
We definitely got to keep the momentum going. We got to keep going into every game with the mindset that we're going to win and the mindset that we're going to complete our goals. Because if we fall into some sort of slump and we just keep getting down on ourselves, that's not going to propel us to where we want to get to, especially in the tournament. We always want to stay positive. Like last night, we had one bad play, and after that, you just got to pick up your teammates and make sure they know that we have their backs, and for the rest of the game and for the rest of the season that we're going to pick each other up and play team baseball.
We know in a baseball career, you're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs. It's just the nature of the sport. What kind of thing do you do personally to keep yourself even keel during the hills and valleys of a baseball season and a baseball career?
I'm definitely big on listening to music and clearing my head. Going on drives or like taking a cold shower and listening to music is something that'll help me wash off like a bad game or anything, and just getting into the right mindset of going to the next game and having a better game, a better attitude.
Is there a music preference or like a certain playlist that's the go-to?
I'm definitely a big Kid Cudi and Kanye West fan, but I also get into some Linkin Park.
These are all kind of throwback. Like, are we talking throwback Kanye or a new Kanye?
I'm definitely more old Kanye, and also I'm more old Kid Cudi, like Man on the Moon 1 and 2.
I feel you. I feel you on that. When you look at some of the things that you play and some of the sports you get the chance to play, what kind of things do you take from sports that you use in life as life lessons?
Definitely being a hard worker, no matter what your talent level is in a sport or in the classroom. Being a hard worker will get you anywhere in life. If you want a certain job and you work hard, you can get that job by studying and learning the material that you need to get what you want in life. And that's also the same in sports. If you want something in sports, you want that starting position, then you got to work your butt off to get there.
Being that it is your senior year, what is one thing that senior Trevor Deering would look back and tell freshman Trevor Deering coming into this program?
Definitely to eat more and just be bigger, because as a freshman, you could see my ribs. I was the skinniest person there. So definitely getting bigger.
What advice do you give to maybe someone that's coming into high school that wants to be a part of this program and wants to come up and have the kind of success that you've had?
Give it a shot, 100%. Baseball is a team sport, and you can make really good friendships through the sport. So I think if a student wants to come out and play baseball, on 100% go for it. And baseball is a sport you can pick it up and you can go through the junior varsity level, and you can go up to varsity just by practicing, working as hard as you can.
Being that you're a senior, you're obviously a leader. Who were some of your role models coming in as a freshman that you looked up to on the Columbiana baseball team?
A couple I looked up to I really looked up to Matt Mazie, because I had played with him in previous sports, but he was one of the guys that was always there for me. Chase Franken and Hunter Zettner were all really good motivational guys for me, and I always looked up to them because they always played the game right as well.
All right, so those were players that you looked up to inside the program. What about professional players that you watched as a kid? Who are some of your favorite professional players?
So I'm a Phillies fan. I know it's a little controversial, but Bryce Harper is a guy I've always really liked.
Flip it now, being a senior, who are some of the players that you've kind of tried to take under your wing and mentor to kind of cater to the future of Columbiana baseball?
A couple players. Hogan is one. He's going to be a future outfielder. And not as a talent level, but Baden Pipoli, he definitely can get in his own head at sometimes. And I like to stay level and never cross through a zone where I get too high or too low. So taking Baden under my wing and showing him that's like just take the next play. Don't forget about the last play and keep playing baseball.
If we were to ask those guys next year, if we had an interview with them next year, we asked what kind of impact you left on them, what do you hope their answer would be?
I'd hope my answer would be that I was never a player that gave up or quit, no matter like what my situation is in baseball or just in life in general. I never quit. I never gave up, and I would always work hard to be a better me the next day.
Obviously, your career with Columbiana baseball has had a lot of trips to places, a lot of great ballparks, and a lot of great memories. Shout out some of your favorite memories that you've had with this Clipper baseball team.
Oh, 100% PNC in Canal Park. That weekend will go down as the best weekend of my high school career. That was just one of the craziest experiences. Even when you tell me about it now, I just get the chills and all these memories flash through my head as I think about that weekend.
Take us back to PNC and the favorite memory, the favorite part of that night and being able to play on that field.
My favorite part was just using the dugout and also the bathroom. The bathroom was a really cool part. A big group of us just went to the bathroom. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the same bathroom as 29 MLB teams.
Did you have to take time to kind of reflect and realize that when you step on that field that you are stepping on the grass that MLB players step on?
Yeah, that was definitely just walking into the stadium and walking on the warning track to get to the dugout and also warming up our arms. It was just crazy standing in that stadium. And also when we actually started playing the game, even though there was maybe a couple hundred people there, maybe less than that, you could not hear a single thing in the outfield. Our outfielders coach would give us signs and stuff to move, and you could not hear a single thing. You could barely hear yourself in your own head.
What's your favorite win that you've gotten as a Clipper?
Favorite win as a Clipper? Probably Howland earlier this year because last year we kind of dropped the ball on them. But to come back this year and beat them in a thrilling game, it was just really a big win for us and showed us how good of a team we could be. And as we get to the end of the year through May and June.
All right, Trevor, it's time for your rapid fire questions to get you a little bit off the field. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. What's one thing that you collect, and what is one part of that collection that you don't have yet that you want?
So I've been collecting basketball cards and baseball, trading cards. I definitely would love to get my hands on a Bryce Harper rookie card. That would be amazing. Love to get one of those.
What is one thing you spend a lot of money on that you probably shouldn't?
Shoes, 100% shoes.
What's the favorite pair of shoes that you have right now?
I just got these gray zebra Yeezys. I never thought Yeezys would be as comfortable as they are, but it's like walking on memory foam. Definitely those.
What teammates can cheer you up no matter what the situation is?
Riley Mccelwain and Eddie Clancy. I've spent the last 7 years with them pretty much inseparable, and they always know how to get a smirk out of me.
If you could afford any car, what car would you want to buy?
Ooh. Probably a 69 Camaro. Those are gorgeous. Love them.
What is one sport that you don't play that you wish you could?
Volleyball, men's volleyball. I know they're bringing it to Ohio in the next couple of years, but I've played volleyball in my past time, and I definitely love to.
Have you ever done any work with the high school volleyball team? Because they're pretty good.
Oh, they're pretty good. I haven't done any open gyms with them. I didn't even know if that was possibly a thing, but I played football last couple of years anyways. But I know next Wednesday during a senior Olympics, our football team's playing their volleyball team.
Oof, that should be fun. You might be a ringer. What is your favorite holiday?
I love 4th of July. That's my favorite holiday.
On the flip side of that coin, what is your least favorite holiday?
Probably Easter. It doesn't really feel like a huge holiday to me because I'm not super religious, so it's not a big hit for me.
Staying on that Track, if you were given the power to create a holiday, what would you create a holiday for?
I would make the Super Bowl a national holiday. That way
I love
everyone gets Monday off too.
Yes. What is the best Halloween costume you've ever worn?
When I was like 8, I wore this type of like Joker costume. I wasn't the actual Joker like Heath Ledger, but I had like bells and this whole thing and this mask. It was like a Joker.
What is the best Christmas present you've ever received?
I got a 4-wheeler when I was like 10. That was my favorite.
What? I'm gonna try to out you, but what is one song on your playlist that you don't want people to know that's on your playlist?
Probably "Party in the USA." That's a song that could frequently come up in my playlist, and I kind of skip through it when my friends are in the car.
What is your nickname if you have one, and if you don't, what do you wish it was?
I get called a couple different things, but I probably get called Todd the most. For some reason, my friends say I kind of look like a Todd.
Oh, you look like a Todd. What's your favorite streaming service, like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime? Which one has the best library?
I'm a big fan of Netflix. Whenever I'm not watching sports on television, I definitely go on Netflix. Although I wish they brought back The Office.
What was the last thing you binged on Netflix?
The Ozark.
Books or movies?
Movie.
Do you have a favorite movie? If anyone asked me this, I would take 10 minutes to answer.
If I don't count series, Whitewater Summer.
All right. What is the last movie you saw in a theater?
I think the last movie I saw in a theater was The Batman.
Summer or winter?
Summer, 100%.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Do you have a pet?
I have like 5.
Okay, because that makes up for the other 2 teammates not
Yeah,
having
that's
any.
what I was gonna say. He's making up.
All right, pick one of those pets, and if they could talk, what would they say about you?
My oldest dog, Ace, he'd probably just ask me to play with them or go take a nap with them.
What fictional death hit you the hardest?
Oof. I'm probably gonna have to agree with what Eddie said, and when Aunt May died.
What is your hidden talent?
My hidden talent. I can do a front flip on a trampoline.
Not hidden anymore. What's the last thing that you cooked, and what do you cook the best?
I think the last thing I cooked was a quesadilla, and that's probably the thing I'm best at. If I have a go-to meal, it's a quesadilla.
All right. If you owned a business, what would you want it to sell or excel in?
If I owned a business, it would be for physical therapy, and I would my practice would be based on high school athletes and rehabbing them.
What is your go-to restaurant to eat at?
Ooh. I'm a big fan of Texas Roadhouse.
All right. What's the order there?
I always get their. It's some type of bacon burger with their fries and the spear pickle.
Best rolls in the country, hands down. That's a great way to end the rapid fire.
100%.
Trevor, before we let you go, we want to give you the chance to thank your support system, the support that you get from your friends and family and all the people that are there for you throughout everything. So thank whoever you want to thank at this time.
I'd love to thank my parents. They've been with me, cheering me on in baseball for the last however many years. I'd also like to I'd like to thank Coach Bryce Rankin. He's been there for me since he started coaching, and he's always taking me under his wing, make sure I'm doing okay and coaching me up. And then also I'd love to thank the class of 2022. We're all really tight, and it's awesome when they come out to our games and cheer us on and ask us about it during school.
All right, Trevor, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. It was great to hear from you. Great to continue our support and coverage of you. We wish you the best of luck, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you so much.
Trevor Deering, one of the many seniors that we've had from Columbiana baseball today. And that was 3 of 3. And we all got through it and we loved it. And we want to thank all 3 of those guys for their time. Riley Mccelwain, Eddie Clancy, and Trevor Deering all showing up for us today on Running Point, and all great leaders of that Columbiana baseball team.
Yeah, and there you go, getting some love too. Drew Deering, he killed it. They all did a great job too. And I mean, we want to thank too also Mckayley Thornhill of Jackson Milton softball and Julie Stackowitz of South Range softball too for also joining us today. It was a player-packed first hour and a half here on Running Point, and that's kind of suffices and makes up for tonight's lack of ball games that we're going to see in the area.
It is rainy, and more rainy. And we'll look at Storm Tracker 21 app for the heck of it for the forecast for today and tomorrow. And unfortunately, the forecast for tomorrow doesn't look much better. There is a 100% chance of rain tomorrow as well, according to Storm Tracker 21. And that chance of rain goes, as far as I can take it. So it goes until noon tomorrow, at least. So tomorrow looks like it's going to be pretty wet. We'll update you on the cancellations for today. And then, of course, for tomorrow's, you'll just have to stay tuned to our social media page and ysnlive.com/live to see what games we're going to have on the network if there are any games happening tomorrow. But for today, let's go through and the games that should have been happening that are canceled. Looks like everything has been moved to postponed today. So Rootstown United has been postponed. Chalker and Badger has been postponed. This is all baseball. We're starting with baseball, excuse me. Champion at South Range has been postponed. Columbiana at Springfield has been postponed. East Palestine at East at Pemberton Park, that has been postponed. Southeast at Garfield has been postponed. Howland versus Fitch at Austintown has been postponed. Solon at Canfield, that was going to be played at Scene 1, that is postponed. On the softball side of things, West Branch at Alliance at West Branch has been postponed. Chalker at Badger has been postponed. East Palestine at East, also at Pemberton Park, that's been postponed. Springfield at Jackson Milton has been postponed, and so has Uniontown Lake at Canfield. Already postponed tomorrow. We can tell you that Cheney at Warren JFK softball is postponed. So is the doubleheader at West Branch between the Warriors and Glen Oak. Boardman at Howland baseball tomorrow has also been postponed. But for now, still green for now has been Glen Oak at Louisville for baseball. They're going to be playing a doubleheader. Louisville is going to be playing a doubleheader, I should say, because they're playing Glen Oak and then Revere. East Palestine baseball hosting Wellsville is still on. Columbiana at Toronto is still on. And so is Liberty at Champion baseball. On the softball side of things, as of now, Maslin is still traveling to Fitch for a doubleheader tomorrow. United is still going to Latonia, and Liberty is still going to Champion. We also have Minerva at Louisville. I don't know why I said Louisville. Louisville. Minerva at Louisville, a doubleheader still happening tomorrow as of now. That is going to start at 10 a.m. first game and 12 o'clock the second game. So we'll keep an eye out for the weather. Maybe something changes and the rain swerves left and we get games in tomorrow. But as of now, those are the games that are postponed tonight, the games that are still happening tomorrow, and the games that are postponed tomorrow. As always, go to ysnlive.com/live at game time. And if your game is still happening, it'll be on that website.
Yeah, and don't forget, too, for all the results that happened in last night's slate of games, you can go to ysnlive.com as well as all of our socials to get stories on the results, too, as well as just all the write-ups for those games, too. So you can get the results and the write-ups on those games, too, at ysnlive.com. And don't forget, if you miss any of these interviews, too, they always get reposted to not only YouTube, but also to the site ysnlive.com as well, too.
And if you're on our YouTube page, Ty, tell them what they should do.
You got to make sure you not only subscribe, but you got to hit that notification bell so you get updated on daily, almost pretty much semi-daily content.
Yep, you never miss any of the video content we put on at ysnlive.com YouTube.
Well, technically it is daily content almost just about. You get 5 days a week with the replays of the shows too.
So you'll never miss a moment of anything. Shows, interviews, post-game interviews, live games, highlights, everything that we do video-wise gets put on YouTube. You won't miss a minute of it. if you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because you never know. Sometimes YouTube's algorithm, it's funky. You might miss something. You don't want to miss anything on YSN Live. So make sure to hit that bell so you'll always be notified when we put up a new video.
Yeah, absolutely too. And I mean, don't forget also, if you go to our site, we still got our Big Dogs of the Valley voting going up. We talked to a big dog in Riley Mccelwain too. So, and we also had another big dog candidate on yesterday in Gavin Strum. So, I mean, get to it as we try.
And Hallie McCullough also up for Big Dog of the Valley. Don't forget that.
So make sure you stop by our site too. Stop by the Big Dogs of the Valley list and cast your vote too, and get those voting numbers up there for these kids, both on the baseball and softball.
Voting is unlimited, and it ends Sunday at midnight. So make sure that you hit until your fingers can't hit no more. If you're voting for one of your favorite players, there is no such thing as too many votes. Trust me. Well, actually, there is, because our site might see you as a threat and shut you down. Yeah, if that happens, turn off your Wi-Fi. That's all I can tell you. And try to go with data. That's what we've been telling people.
Yeah.
It has happened. Yeah, I don't think it's happened to many individuals. It's happened to like a school's Wi-Fi, because students are voting like crazy on their school's Wi-Fi. But hasn't happened to too many individual that's at home voting for their favorite player. So ysnlive.com/big dog. That's where you'll find all of that. Ty, since there are no games tonight and the tomorrow's forecast looks bleak, there is going to be something exciting over the weekend, though. Seeding's going to come out for baseball on Saturday, and then on Sunday they'll have the tournament draw. So on Monday, just like we did this week, we'll have brackets for baseball to talk about. When you look at the outlook of this tournament and some of the teams that we think are going to be in the top seeds of the divisions, what kind of teams kind of stick out to you in baseball as, okay, they're going to be a top seed, or they're going to be a middle seed that is going to be something to watch out for? What outlook do you have on these seedings and with the possible brackets that we could see on Sunday?
I think you got to, first and foremost, in D2, got to book Canfield in the top 4. I mean, I think that's easy. I think, in my opinion.
Is it automatic one? Like, do you think it's automatic?
I don't know. I never want to say it's automatic, because there's a lot of good teams in D2, but I feel like, I mean, and I might be biased, and it's very easy because we see them more, but I would put Canfield at number 1 just because they've played a lot of these state-ranked teams and come out on the winning end of a lot of them. And the ones that they've lost, they've never been dominated in a baseball game.
They literally beat the reigning state champions. Like, you do that should get you, and they beat them up 8-0.
Yeah. So I think it's definitely going to open some eyes. I think that Hoban game, you're right, is going to open some eyes for that one. I think D4, JFK, I would book definitely top 4 seed. I don't think there's any doubt in that one too, just because of the schedule they play and the way they've been able to handle the season too. Still a double-digit win team. I mean, that's exactly what they did last year. I expect another good run from them this season.
D3, do you think South Range is automatically number 1? I mean, they have 2 losses and they play almost exclusively D1, D2 schedule.
I gotta feel like that South Range is, and I mean, if not, I don't think you disrespect them by putting them outside of that top 4. Certainly, I think South Range has put together one of the best seasons in D3 too, and the losses they have aren't bad losses either in the baseball realm too. They're against good baseball teams, so I think South Range too, like you said, especially playing up divisions consistently, I think it's going to get them respect. Plus the name, everyone remembers state champions from a year ago, so I think the name's going to also help carry it a little bit.
Just like softball, like D3 is going to be so condensed. There's going to be so much talent coped in to maybe let's say the 4 through the 10, 11, 12 seeds. You know, you're going to have Champion in there, you're going to have Crestview in there, you're going to have Columbia in there, you're going to have Garfield in there. You know, so many baseball teams that have a lot of good talent that can beat you any given day. It's going to be a very interesting, I think, Division 3 bracket to see where teams go and how they get seeded.
We're going to see probably a lot of brackets too in the districts where we might be guaranteed a YSN team to come out of districts, and that's going to be exciting too, as we see a lot of things can and potentially will line up like that on the softball side of things in multiple divisions. And hey, we're okay with that. We want to see our teams go as far as we can. Hopefully we can go 4 for 4 in some state hardware.
I actually think every division in I could be wrong, but I think every division in softball has a chance to have at least one district out of the 2 have a YSN district championship.
I know. Well, Division 1, as long as Fitch would have to make sure that they beat Kent Roosevelt and McKinley, whoever comes out of that one. But you have Louisville and Howland on that other side. So,
the chances are good, that we might get an all YSN final. In D2, you got Poland, West Branch, Canfield, all in the same Jefferson district, and then the Hubbard district, you got Hubbard in there, and you got I'm blanking. Yeah, other good teams. The point is, you're going to see a lot of YSN matchups. D3, South Range at the top, but on the other bottom end of their bracket, you have Columbia and Crestview vying for that other district's final spot if it goes chalk. Champion and Ursuline are in the other district, so you got those two that might be dueling each other for a district championship. And then in Division 4, down there, you have Brookfield, obviously. Matthews is going to be the favorite in Division 4, because they're a state power. They just lost to Fitch 3-1, and that tells you how good they are. I mean, Matthews is a dominant Division 4 team. They're probably going to be the favorites. But McDonald has been putting it together a really good season. Jackson Milton's in there. So you got a lot of opportunities for, if not YSN finals, definitely YSN semifinals.
Just peeking at it too in the Division 2 bracket and in the Jefferson bracket, the top end of the bracket, we're guaranteed a YSN representative. It's all YSN teams in the top. Bottom end, it's only Canfield in the softball realm. So Canfield's going to have to fight through a gauntlet. But if Canfield, we're rooting for Canfield on the bottom end, and then it's just survival of the fittest on the top end. But we can have an all YSN then matchup in that case.
I was looking at the regional brackets last night, just trying to kind of look ahead, because I'm always looking ahead. I'm not a coach, so I'm allowed to look ahead. Waiting in that regional semifinal for whoever wins the Jefferson district, I believe, which is Poland, West Branch, Canfield, those teams like that. Worcester Triway is sitting right there. And Worcester Triway is one of, if not the best team in Division 4 this season, in Division 2 this season. They got multiple Division 1 high caliber Power 5 players in their lineup. They have a sophomore pitcher that is lighting the world on fire. That's a tough draw. You would hope that you were in the other region and you would get some momentum, a lot of momentum before having to play them. But Worcester Triway is going to be there. That's going to be a big measuring stick to our teams if they can find a way to beat those Giants. Now, I'm not going to say it's impossible, because we saw Triway's one loss this season is to Anthony Wayne, and Anthony Wayne beat Poland 1-0. So, to each its own. Matchups are matchups, and you don't know who pitched for each team, and you don't know how everything went. But just looking at scores, you say, hey, Poland competed with Anthony Wayne, who also competed with Triway. So you have to figure it's close enough to say the fickle nature of softball can make that upset happen.
And I mean, especially with some of these baseball realms too, just looking at baseball with an upcoming tournament, I'm throwing pretty much everything out the window. Anyone can beat anybody, because we haven't even seen these teams, what some of these teams' full strength can even look like right now. We haven't even seen some guys pitch at their fullest potential. Right, some of these guys are sitting with like 5-6 innings on the season. Like, wait until you get these guys unleashed, because come tournament time, who cares? I mean, it's that game or survive and advance, right? Like that's the mentality at that point.
That's what's great about this. I mean, it's survive and advance. So you do whatever. Like we talked about this yesterday when we were talking about who you throw in the semifinals versus the final. You do whatever you have to do to advance, right? And then you worry about the next day. But whatever you have to do to win that game in advance, it's just survive and advance, right? And that's my take on it. I don't know. I know other coaches have other takes. They want to save their players for the championship. Sometimes that works out for them, but like I said, if it doesn't, that's going to be a question you're going to have to answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's whoever you feel gives you the best chance to win on that given night, and that just is why pitching is such a huge key in baseball, and it's a big key in softball too. And that's why I keep preaching names like your Boardmans, because when you have multiple pitchers in the softball realm, like having two, and when we saw Champion have three, that's why they did what they did. Like, but having two, like two really good pitchers, or just two pitchers that can take the circle at any time, it's a huge advantage for a lot of teams.
This is going to sound crazy because Bree Kohler is a Division I pitcher and went to play at Youngstown State. But South Range might have a better chance when you just look at the pitcher circle this year than last year, because now they have back-to-back a twin monster, and Julie and Sam are both completely different. They do things different ways. So if a team is starting to catch up to Sam Suzanne or starting to read her movement, you bring in the velocity of Julie Stakowicz and you say, okay, try to catch up to this. And then it's the other way around too. Like if you're starting with Julie Stakowicz and you have her velocity, then they're starting to catch up to it and starting to tag her a little bit. Okay, here's Sam Suzanne. She's more of a movement pitcher. Try to hit her too.
I think the dangerous part about that too is that you're really resting them throughout the season while giving them perfect game experience, because none of them are going to be tasked with a whole lot of innings. So now you're going to go into a tournament with two girls that are pretty much ready to go.
Remember last year, Bree Kohler pitched almost every inning for South Range throughout the season. I think maybe there were 25 innings total that she didn't pitch throughout the year, and she pitched every game for them tournament run. And you saw it in the state championship because it was back-to-back. They played Friday night in the state semifinal, and they had to play Saturday for the state championship. That arm fatigue caught up a little bit. It was the first time all year that she had to pitch on back-to-back days. Usually South Range would just throw someone else in the 2-game series. So back-to-back days in that kind of situation, in that kind of heat, in that kind of pressure, it can really wear on you, especially when you have a whole season's worth on your arm. So now Stakowicz and Suzanne both have kind of been complimenting each other. They both have around, I mean, I could look at the exact number, but they both have around 40 innings pitched right now, opposed to last year at this time, Bree Kohler probably had closer to 100 innings pitched.
And then you take the fact that they both have 40 innings pitched, and you go into a tournament run, they're good pretty much for probably any day just because of that fact. So if you want Suzanne to go 7 innings, and if she has her best stuff, great. If she doesn't, you could pull her in the third and just have Stakowicz. Having that kind of insurance at that spot too in the circle helps tremendously in the softball realm. And that's why you're going to see teams like South Range benefit from it. And that's why I call teams like Boardman a wild card going into the tournament.
Yeah, like you look at Manny Lester's ERA at Boardman, you'll say, well, she's struggling this year. But at the same time, how good she is and how much raw talent she has. And she shut out Poland. So if she ever figures it out and starts getting consistent, and then you add Tori Strines to the mix, who, by the way, I think, and I've watched her in travel ball too, where she pitches on a team with Julie Stakowicz, I think she is as good as she is as a starter. She's even better coming out in relief, like coming off, I want to say the bullpen, but usually she just comes in from third. She does a really good job pitching with people on, and if there's a sticky situation, you need to bring her in. She is so good relieving pitchers. So don't be shocked if Boardman makes a run and you see maybe like in a 3-0 game, maybe Boardman gives up a run and it's 3-1. They just say, hey, we're going to bring Tori Strines in, because remember in softball, there's a re-enter rule. So you do that and you can still have Manny Lester come back and pitch, especially if you keep him in the game with defensive, substitution. So if Lester goes to second and then Tori Strines comes in to pitch, you're not taking Lester out of the game, so she can come back whenever you want her to.
And that's huge. And that, I think, is something that Coach Moots is going to have in his back pocket too. And don't you think too that he's not going to rely on that senior arm of Maddie Lester too, and just let people look at the numbers and take that at face value and start to doubt Maddie Lester. I think that's exactly what she wants you to do, because, we've had her on. Cal, you commit. She could show you exactly what she's made of, and she's done it to some of the best lineups in the area before. And she's gotten wins against some of the best lineups in the area.
Moots is sitting there like, okay, keep doubting her. Keep doubting her. Because, Fred Moots has said in the comments before, he said it to me before, he said it to you before, there is no one he believes in more than Madison Lester. So he's going to roll her out, and he's going to let his senior kind of control where they go. And if that works out for him, great. And I think he would have no regrets if something happened and it didn't work out on the other side of things. He's going to roll out his senior, and he's going to say, we're going to go with where you take us. And I think he's earned that responsibility and that moment.
She's going to have that refined confidence and that refined composure going into the circle. And then Tori Strines is kind of like that spark plug that's going to come out as a freshman for him.
Boardman had that last year too. A lot of people looked at Madison Lester last year and what a good season she had, but they forget about Kato Horo, who came in to pitch a lot for Madison Lester and gave her some innings off. and pitched almost just as well. I mean, I think their ERAs were almost identical. Katahoro, just a different pitcher. So, having that 1-2 punch can really help you, especially in Division I, because those lineups you're going to face are ridiculous.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, with the games that we know are holding on, I think you want to go over the games that are going to be on the network today and tomorrow, and who's going to be.
Well, yeah, I mean, today everything's canceled, right? So nothing's happening today.
Want to go over the games tomorrow? It's the last weekend of regular season softball, people. So it's right here. Tournament is rapidly approaching.
Since you said that, I mean, I know we usually start with baseball, but since we just said the last regular season Saturday of softball, right now, Massillon and Austintown Fitch doubleheader still happening. Ty, you are scheduled to be there. 11 a.m. first pitch for game 1, and game 2 will be at 1 o'clock roughly. We have United at Latonia still happening. Chris Ziegler will be there at 11 a.m. And Liberty at Champion right now still happening. Brian Oatridge will be there at noon. On the baseball side of things, we have 2 games that are scheduled on the network that aren't postponed right now. Columbiana at Toronto. That'll be Joe CBO on the call. And then we have Liberty at Champion, Matt Mayer on the call. Now we also have Rob, who he's yellow, which means we think he'll be there, but he hasn't confirmed hard yet for Louisville baseball. They have a doubleheader against Glen Oak and Revere. They will play Glen Oak at 11 and Revere at 4. Since we last talked, Wellsville at East Palestine has been postponed tomorrow on baseball. So that, and of course Boardman Howland, which we already talked about, has been postponed. Louisville still hosting Minerva tomorrow for a doubleheader. Won't be on the network, but is happening.
Yep. Stay tuned, of course, to our socials and to our site for any updates on games that are delayed, postponed, canceled, moved, or added onto the network as well. Also, stay tuned for our Monday drop of the power rankings, too. That'll be exciting to see where these teams are going to shake up. I'm sure it's going to be an interesting vote amongst our voters, too. But also make sure you stay tuned to our socials for any other content, as well as our site, ysnlive.com.
Yes, ysnlive.com/live. You go there tomorrow when your game is set, and if it's happening, it'll be on there. You'll have a link. If it's not happening, it'll be updated, and your game won't show up on there. So,
and there's also a nice QR code you could take advantage of too if you have
QR code. Good plug, Ty.
So scan that QR code, and it'll take you right to that live page for you. It's another step cut out of the process for you.
And it's going to be a fun day. If we get baseball and softball, great. If we don't, we'll have seedings for baseball, and that'll be exciting to see as well. Brackets will come out on Sunday. We'll talk about those brackets on Monday and a lot more. That'll also be Monday. Will be the start of the sectional tournament for softball. So, here we go. We're going to talk about the brackets for baseball, and we're going to talk about the start of sectional tournaments for softball. It'll be Tournament Monday. I'm now dubbing it. It is now forever named Tournament Monday.
The rainbow you just drew. Tournament Monday.
The more you know. I wish I had that little video clip. The more you know.
The graphic. Yeah, there you go. Now we're looking forward to it. Tournament Monday is what Anthony's naming it. It's going to be a fun Monday as well. Power rankings to drop, all kinds of tournaments, seedings, and games to talk about. It's going to be exciting here.
Also, we'll know who won Beard Brothers Big Dog in the Valley, too, because that voting ends on Sunday night at midnight. Make sure to head over to ysnlive.com/Big Dog to insert your vote for Beard Brothers Big Dog of the Valley. That will do it for today's show. I want to take the time to thank our guests today. We had 5 of them, and they all gave their time very graciously to come on our show. We want to thank Mckayley Thornhill from Jackson Milton Softball for coming on, Julie Stakowitz from South Range Softball. Then we want to thank the 3 seniors from Columbiana and Riley Mccelwain, Eddie Clancy, and Trevor Deering for all stopping by in succession, rotating door style, stopping by and talking to us. We appreciate all the time that we get from our athletes and our coaches. We can't say that enough. Our show wouldn't be anything if you guys don't give us the time. And we want to thank everyone for being able to view. And we had a lot of great engagement today as well. So thank you so much for tuning in today and all week. We'll be back next week. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next. Power Hour from 3 to 4. And then no games tonight, unfortunately, because of the rain. But that means you guys have some chance to maybe watch some past games on demand section on ysnlive.com. go check out some content. We'll have more content up tonight, and YSN will not be quiet just because there aren't any games tonight. So we're taking a 70-hour break. We'll be back on Monday, and we'll get you covered on all the weekend's happenings on Monday from 12 to 2. Until then, have a great weekend, everybody, and stay safe.